Okay, you guys, this is the final friggin' fantastic bomb video on the ketogenic non-BS lifestyle. So of course, I've been doing videos in the NYC. And why would I do that? Because I can. Because I can. So you guys, all right, let's hop right on to it. We're going to talk about not the tourists that are all around me. And doesn't this background just dwarf Hollywood? Like really? Really, 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 really? I love it because we have so many tourists that come to Cali. I get it, the weather's great and all that kind of stuff, but this shite is fantastic bomb. Okay, let's do it. So what's the deal? What's the deal with why we get fat? I thought I would just do like a Gary Taubes version of a why we get fat, but let's make it a like Stephabom or Stephanie Bam style video of why we get fat. So why do we get fat? Well, people have this thing that calories matter, and they really don't, because it is your age, your gender, your fitness level, the amount of muscle mass to fat ratio you have, your quality of sleep, your ability to keep your gut bacteria down, and those types of things. So, disease, autoimmune, all that stuff. It's not about, like, you can take me, and it doesn't matter if I eat carbs or not, I'm going to whoop down carbs, and I am always going to have the business, because I have trained my fat cells to be efficient. So what are efficient fat cells? Well, you know, people who eat processed foods, they train their fat cells, because you've got these insulin receptor sites on your fat cells that just love to gobble up carbohydrates. Yeah, or, well, actually insulin, which is like delivering it right into the fat cell. And of course, I always mention in my videos that you can only handle 1 teaspoon of glucose at a time. Your body is, that's a homeostasis. Anything more than that becomes problematic to what? Your body's health and wealth. So let's take a look more at the craziness behind me, because I like to digress a few times. It's so fantastic, bomb. Holla. Come on. Stop being diffused. Okay, back to it. I'm such a dork. Okay, so I had to gather myself. So here we go. So your fat cells are motivated not by fat, but they're motivated by carbohydrates, because we were never meant to be eating starchy carbs or even processed carbs. And that's what we eat. Think about it. Like, I've had this discussion so many times with people who are like, no, but like I do paleo and I'm like, paleo, keto. No, there's no such thing. There's a big difference between ketogenesis and every freaking thing else that you try to do to your body. With that said, let's talk about it. Okay, so since fat cells don't have insulin receptor sites on it, fats are dense molecules that have to be broken down several times to even get into the fat cell. Now, if you put butter on bread, now the fat has a transportation system, which is the carbohydrates, which creates glucose, and then the insulin, and drives it like a taxi cab. Where's the taxi cab? See? Drives it like a taxi cab right into the cell. That's not what we want, you guys. We want to actually burn off fuel. We don't want to have an excitatory response in the blood, because that creates disease. And all you people who feel like shite, it's because of the processed carbohydrates. End of story. All right? All right. Okay, so here we go. I'm such a dork. I'm so distracted. Like, this is the best place for Steph to get distracted. Okay, so the fat cells, so you've got all these different mechanisms, right? You've got your age, you've got your muscle mass, you've got your thyroid, your adrenals, you've got your sleep quality, you've got all these things that are indicative of how much fat you're going to burn, and your and gender and size and, you know, whatever. Okay.
Right.
So when somebody who's my age and my height, okay, who eats, let's say, the same amount of calories, my body did not divide its fat cells and just multiply and swell up, which makes your fat cells very efficient at storing. So when I gain weight, I don't really even notice it because it doesn't really go to the most obvious places around my belly. It might go to my bum, my butte. But I'm not always like sticking my butt in the mirror. So normally you can see yourself from the front, and then I don't notice that I am gaining any weight, which I did at one point because I was eating like 3,000 calories to try to get to ketosis. Now, 3,000 calories of fat, 80%, if that was carbohydrates, instead of gaining 7-8 pounds, I would have gained 40 pounds because those insulin receptor sites would have been shoving all that processed glucose, high carbohydrates into my belly. And we don't want that. Oh, the sun's just completely moving and changing and all this kind of stuff. So here we go, guys. Why people get fat is, number one, they stop moving. Yeah, and their muscles are the mitochondria in the muscle cells very hyperactive. I mean, it's hungry. It likes to eat. Okay, so no muscles, no eating. The fat. Then, what else? Then you become insulin sensitive, which means your muscles are able to put the GLUC4 receptor sites from the inside of the muscle cell out to the outside to gobble up the glucose and not go to your fat cell. That's another reason why you need to work out, y'all. All right, what's the other reason? Well, because you're insulin sensitive means you're not insulin resistant, which is what we don't want. We don't want to be insulin resistant because then insulin, you have to just pump bolus amounts of insulin and it's not getting the glucose into the cell as energy.